Hi, I'm Jade Nash.
And I'm Zach Williams.
Welcome to UPTV News.
Tonight, Syracuse professor and artist transforms pies into political statements.
Pittsburgh activists rally to protect sanctuary campuses from the proposed bill HB 14.
And Alyssa Hannah, from the studio that helped create the Oscar-nominated film Fences, visits Pitt's campus.
All that and more tonight. Edward Snowden spoke to the University of Pittsburgh via video on Wednesday, February 1st from an undisclosed location in Russia. Snowden, a former CIA employee and former contractor for the U.S. government, could not be at the university in person due to current charges for espionage and theft. The former CIA agent and whistleblower is now known for copying 1.7 million classified documents from the NSA in 2013 and leaking them without authorization. During his video discussion held on Google Hangouts, Snowden talked about his privacy rights and his own history with privacy.
On January 28th, the Miller Gallery at Carnegie Mellon University presented the exhibit Hacking, Modding, Remixing as Feminist Protest. The exhibit, put together by curator Angela Washko, featured the works of 22 female artists, designers, and developers. Washko's exhibit showcases the voices of perspectives of women in a field where they are frequently marginalized. One of the artists featured in the exhibit was Anina Roost. Roost, associate professor at the College of Visual and Performing Arts at Syracuse University, is known for her work in new media arts. Her works frequently focus on gender representation issues in technology and the arts. Her piece at the Miller Gallery does just that. Roost created a robot which places pie charts representing gender statistics in the arts and technology onto pies. To get the full story, Lauren Rossi attended the opening on the 28th. We take you there now.
The Pittsburgh gender ratios are here, and for example, the Co-Create Creative Business Ignition program has a really great gender ratio. They have 6 women and 1 man.
What made you decide to use pies as the medium for your pie charts?
I think pies are a great way of visualizing economic inequality.
What would you say to girls who want to pursue a career in the arts and technology?
I would say go for it, but be aware what lies on the other side of the door of equal opportunity.
French presidential candidate Jean-Luc Mélenchon utilized a hologram of himself during his campaign on Sunday, February 5th. While the Liberal candidate held a rally in person in Lyon, a hologram of him was projected by satellite in Paris. While critics have said this tactic was a gimmick to make headlines, it can be said that Jean-Luc Mélenchon found a way to be in 2 places at once. A group of 25 immigrants' rights activists protested outside of Adam Costa, a Pittsburgh state representative's office. Protests began shortly after Costa was listed as a co-sponsor on HB 14, an anti-immigrant bill which would prohibit the creation of sanctuary campuses. Costa has since come forward to say that his name was listed as a mistake and he is not in support of the bill. However, protesters are dubious as Costa has sponsored several anti-immigrant bills in the past year. The HB 14 bill proposes that employees of colleges and law enforcement must assist immigration enforcement. The bill also states that universities that tell their employees not to communicate with federal immigration officers would face funding cuts.
On Monday, February 6th, Pitt and Hollywood hosted Alyssa Hannah from 31st Street Productions. 31st Street Studios is one of the largest film and television studios on the East Coast. Since 2011, over 25 productions have been a part of this facility, including movies like The Dark Knight Rises, Warrior, and most recently Fences. Here's an inside look at the event.
I started working for 31st Street Studios in May of 2015, so it's been almost 2 years with this company.
My favorite part of my job is just getting to meet the most interesting people in the world, and that was the case no matter where I was at, in DC and here with Nat Geo, with 31st Street Studios. I've gotten to meet some really incredible crew members, producers, talent that have had some incredible stories, and it's so great to be able to surround yourself with those kinds of people on a regular basis.
I've been the production manager for Outsiders, Mindhunter, American Fast World, Fences,
The number one thing that I can tell everybody, no matter where they are in school, no matter what part of their life you're at, is to take advantage of every networking opportunity that you can. Meet as many people as you possibly can and never say no to a chance to get your foot in the door. They are hiring people because they see you and they see how you react and they see what kind of a person you are. And your resume doesn't say that, you say that. So going to networking events, going to talks, the most places that you can get your foot in, the better. And the more people you meet, the better, because you never know when one of those opportunities is going to work out for you. And I know that firsthand.
Philadelphia is now the first U.S. city to prohibit employers from asking applicants for salary history, and Pittsburgh may be close behind. Philadelphia Mayor Kenney signed the wage equity law on Monday, January 30th. The bill, which will prevent wage discrimination for women and minorities, was pushed forward despite backlash from the Comcast Corporation and other Philadelphia businesses. Pittsburgh Councilman Dan Gilman has proposed new legislation which will prohibit employers from requesting salary history in Pittsburgh. When discussing the proposed legislation, Gilman said that jobs, quote, should be based on the duties of the job and a candidate's qualifications, end quote.
In other city news, Pittsburghers have continued to protest the new presidency of Donald Trump and his policies across the city. After the president signed a controversial travel ban on immigrants from 7 Muslim-majority nations on January 27th, Pittsburghers took to the streets in Oakland and organized a rally at Pittsburgh International Airport in solidarity with detained green card holders at other airports across the country. Pittsburgh Mayor Bill Peduto even made a trip to the airport to speak to the protesters.
And by 1924, Congress took an act, and they said, hey, we welcome everybody as long as you were here in 1890. They were told, turn away. We don't want you. Now it's happening again. It's not a question of what will happen. It's literally happening again. And we have to stand together to say no. No.
The city has not, however, declared itself a sanctuary city, or a city that shields undocumented immigrants from federal investigation, despite repeated demands from activists in Pittsburgh. During his campaign, the president threatened to strip federal funding to sanctuary cities. The Innovation Institute at Pitt is currently hosting the Randall Family Big Idea Competition. This competition is an experience-based learning opportunity for Pitt students with big ideas. The competition spans February and March of each year and awards a grand prize of $25,000 to the idea with the most startup promise.
I'm Abhinav.
And I'm Forrest Salamita.
And we're at Locust Notebooks.
We want to have like all of our notebooks in one single device.
Whenever I have a notebook for a class, I don't know how big a notebook I want to buy for it. Many times it's too big and I'm just writing like 1/5 of the way through the notebook. Other times it's like way too small and I have to like buy 2 notebooks for the class.
So what Kindle did for books, we want to do for a notebook.
Yeah, so that means like no Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth, there's not going to be any distractions. To get students, like as soon as they sit down in the classroom, they can open it up, start taking notes.
So just like from the previous competition that we were in, we found that it was really hard to differentiate ourselves. What's the difference between your product and me just taking my iPad and putting it on Wi-Fi? And it's like, our product is very, very different from that. But how do we get that across? We're making the software now, like a basic build of the software, and hopefully with money that we get through this competition, we hope to prototype and be able to bring that around to the university store and the CMU bookstore.
Thank you for tuning in to UPTV News.
Hail to Pitt.